What's up, everybody? Matt from the Jam Gamecast here, coming to you tonight with another collection video. So tonight I decided to show off my Wii collection. So let's just dive right into it. The first game that I have is Academy of Champions Soccer. Um, I love soccer. I'm a huge soccer fan. This seems like a pretty cool game where you're a soccer player and you go to an academy and you join up on a team and you play other teams in the school and everything. Um, I got this game for about $1 on eBay. I'm always on the lookout for cheap games on eBay. It was actually sealed. I since opened it, but yeah, cool looking game. I haven't played it yet, but looks like a really cool soccer game. So moving on, my next game is Alien Syndrome. This is a remake from the original game. That original game, I believe, was on the NES and Sega Genesis and everything. It's a cool game. This game actually got ported. I believe it was on Wii and PSP. Might have been on PS2 as well. But looks like a pretty cool game. It's a shoot 'em up type of game, or not a shoot 'em up, but a run and gun. That would be the better term for it. So pretty cool game. Next game I have, I believe I got this at my local game store one time, and it's Batman, the Brave and the Bold, the video game. Now, I love Batman, so when I saw this, I knew that I had to have it. It's kind of a fun-looking beat-em-up type of game, and like I said, I like Batman. I like the animation style. It was the same as the cartoon as well, so this is another cool-looking game. This next game was one of the very first Wii games I got, and I actually played it. I got right up until the end, and then I never ended up going and beating it. Some stuff came up, and I just never finished the game. But I'm a huge Disney fan, and this is Disney's Epic Mickey. And I love the game too because Oswald's in it. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit's one of my favorite Disney characters. I'm so happy that he's back in the Disney family after being gone for so long. So yeah, Epic Mickey. And then of course I have Disney's Epic Mickey 2. I kind of actually wanted to get this game on either the PlayStation or I believe it's on PS3, I believe. I'm not sure if it's on Xbox 360, but I really didn't want to get it on the Wii because you have to use the stupid nunchuck, and I'm not a huge fan of that controller. But this was, and I think I talked about it when I talked about my PS3 games. At one point, my wife had a bunch of credit at Kohl's. She needed to use it, so she told me I could go on and pick out a bunch of video games. And this was one of the games that I chose, actually. So it was kind of basically like a free game. So, I'll play it. If I can find it on the PS3 for cheap, maybe I'll get it on there as well and play it on there. So I can use an actual normal controller. But yeah, Epic Mickey 2. And this is another Disney game. As I said, I'm a huge Disney fan. Me and my wife are huge Disney fans. And this game looks interesting. Me and my wife haven't played it yet, but we really want to try it out. That's why I picked it up. And I got it for cheap off of eBay, I think only for a few bucks. And that's Disney's Guilty Party. Basically, it seems like you're in a house and some sort of crime happens and you have to try to solve the crime, and multiple players can play, I think up to 4 people. Almost like Clue, but video game format, and it's not Clue, it's a Disney version. So, and then another Disney game, I played a little bit of this game actually, and I really like it. I like you can change your costumes to or different Disney characters, and that's Disney Universe. Kind of like a cool little beat 'em up type of game. You're running around the world and you have to do puzzles and stuff like that, but a pretty cool game. And this next game I actually got at my local game store. I was happy to find it. I love Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, and when I found out about this game, I knew that I wanted to get it. It's kind of like an action adventure type of game, and that's Dragon Ball Revenge of King Piccolo. It's based off the original Dragon Ball cartoon and manga. Um, you're Goku, and ultimately you want to fight King Piccolo at the end. So, pretty cool looking game. Alright, and my next one, a lot of people I think rag on this game, but I'm a huge RPG fan, and I like to try to get anything RPG. Again, though, you gotta use the nunchuck, so I don't know about that, but it's Final Fantasy, Crystal Chronicles, the Crystal Bears, yeah. I think I got this game for really cheap. I think it was only a few bucks. Doesn't have the manual though, which is kind of a bummer, but I figured I'd give it a shot since I like JRPG so much. Alright, and next game, again, this one's on the Xbox 360 and PS3, and I think PS2 as well, but I found the Wii version. Again, it's a nunchuck thing, so if I can find it on one of those other platforms, I'd probably rather get it on there. But that's Ghostbusters, the video game. This game looks really awesome. It's basically like a part 3 to the franchise. All the original actors come back and voice their characters in this game. So I want to try to give it a try. I'll play it on here if I can't find it on any other platforms for cheap. So. Alright, and then we have one of the big guns for the Wii system. Anybody that collects for the Wii knows that this is a more expensive game. Not really hard to find, but it's hard to find for a good price, and I actually paid a good amount for this. I think I paid 45 bucks at a game store, and that's The Last Story. Of course, it's a JRPG, so I have to get it and try it out. At least you can use the classic controller for this game. So I haven't played it yet. I mostly do handheld gaming lately, but when I get back into the consoles on the TV, this is one that I'll definitely try. Alright, and next is a game everyone always suggested and, talk about how it's an underrated game and not real well known, but I think because of that, more and more people know about this game, and it's a cheap game. I think I paid about $5 for it at GameStop, and that's Mad World. Pretty cool, dark, gritty type of game in black and white, kind of noir type of feeling to it, but really cool. Alright, and the next game here, this is a game actually that my brother-in-law gave to me, and it's a classic. I mean, this series has been around forever, and whatever platform it's on, it's always a great idea to have one of these games in the collection, and that's Mario Kart Wii. You should always have Mario Kart games. They're great games to play with other people. Great couch co-op game, so Mario Kart. Alright, and next is another game that my brother-in-law gave to me, and that's Mario Strikers Charged. Again, as I said, I'm a huge soccer fan. This is a cool kind of fun little soccer game. It's a Mario game, so they kind of throw wacky stuff in there, which makes the game fun instead of just your basic soccer type game. So, alright, and next we have, as soon as I kind of found out about this game, I knew I wanted to get it. It's on a few different platforms, but I think the only one I could really find, and I got it for Amazon for about like 21 bucks, and that's Metal Slug Anthology. Has a bunch of the Metal Slug games. Looks like the original Metal Slug, Metal Slug 2, Metal Slug X, Metal Slug 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all on here. Me and my brother-in-law played through the first game and beat it. This is an awesome, run and gun game, classic run and gun series. Anytime you see any sort of Metal Slug games, you should always pick them up. Alright, and next we have another classic JRPG. Not one of the more bigger ones, and came out on a few different platforms. I also have this on the Vita. I'll probably play it on the Vita, but that's Masa, the Demon Blade. This is a Vanillaware game. Very cool artistic style to it. Kind of a side-scrolling RPG. But yeah, really cool game. Alright, and this is another one, this is back from the Sega days, the Sega Saturn days, and that's Knight's Journey in the Dreams, or Journey of Dreams, I should say. Cool game. I love the original game. In fact, I think that was my first exposure to the Sega Saturn. I was playing the original version of this game on the Sega Saturn. I believe that this is a remake. If it's not, I'm sure you'll let me know, but I believe this might be a remake. I'm not sure. I think it's a remake as opposed to a sequel, but who knows. But yeah, it's a fun game. And then this game, I got this for really cheap. I think this was $1. And people see this game and they're like, oh, that game's so crappy. I think people often classify it as one of the worst games on the Wii. But there's an interesting fact behind this game, and that's the reason why I got it, and that's Gingerbread Man. Now, I'm a child of the 90s. I was a kid. I was born in the 80s, but, grew up in the 90s as well. And in the 90s, all the rage, of course, was mascots. You had Mario, Sonic, a bunch of other ones. Crash Bandicoot came out later. But there was a mascot game, and I think there's a couple games, at least one on the Super Nintendo. The Jaguar had the second game, and that's a franchise called Zool. Now, originally, when this game was being developed, it was going to be a new Zool game, but for whatever reason, they changed their mind. They didn't make it Zool, and they just made it a Gingerbread Man instead. So since I like the Zool franchise and I love the old school, mascot type of characters and games, I knew I had to pick this up, and especially it was $1 off eBay, so. Alright, and the next one I believe I got at my local game store, and that's Onechambara Bikini Zombie Slayers. This is, I believe, the original game's on the 360, and I think this is a sequel to that, or the next game in the franchise. Basically, the main characters are girls in bikinis, and it's a warrior-style games. You just go around slashing up a bunch of zombies and everything, and the girls are in bikinis, so, it's a pretty cool game. Alright, and next, we'll jump into the next few games are going to be Sonic games. So the first one is Sonic and the Black Knight. I haven't played this one yet. I think the general feeling of this game is that it's not so great. But like I was saying earlier, I'm a huge fan of the old, mascot characters and everything. So anything Sonic I usually try to check out, so. Alright, and the next one I think people consider one of the better titles to come out more recently for Sonic, and that's Sonic Colors. I believe this was released on a few other platforms. Again, I'd probably prefer maybe some of the other platforms, but you can use the classic controller for this, so at least you don't have to use the nunchuck, but this is supposed to be a good one. And then the next one is another one that I think is considered not very good, but that's Sonic and the Secret of the Rings. Again, this is not supposed to be one of the more popular ones, but, I'll give it a shot. I like Sonic, so, I generally feel like people are more harsh on games than I am. And this was another cheap JRPG I was able to pick up off eBay. I think there's a game in this series on the DS as well, and that's Spectro Origins. It's kind of like a weird JRPG, not as well known. Most people, I think, say that it's not very great, but I'll still give it a shot. Okay, we're coming down to the end here. Next one, and I actually got this for cheap off eBay, which I was surprised, and it's one of the more popular titles on the Wii, and that's Super Mario Galaxy. I haven't played this yet, but so many people say that this is such a good Mario game, so I'm excited to try it. Alright, and the next game was another one that I got in that Kohl's deal, and that's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Now, this is the Nickelodeon version. I'm not a huge fan of the Nickelodeon version of the Ninja Turtles. But, anything Ninja Turtles. Again, I was born in the 80s. I was about 6 years old when the Turtles came out, so I loved the Turtles as a kid. So anything Turtles, I'm willing to give a shot. And, I got it for free from Kohl's with my wife's Kohl's cash or credit or whatever it was. So I'll give this a shot. And the last game in my collection, which people say is, I guess it's one of the harder ones to find, and it still goes for a good price. And I got this from GameStop, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles. I actually played this on the 3DS, and I disliked this game. Too long, wasn't into the story, didn't really like it. Now, of course, I think it probably would have been, I would have been more into it, I think, a little bit if I played it on the Wii instead of the 3DS version, but I really didn't like this story or this game. Now, people say that this is a hard game to find, and if you notice, mine has this little symbol down here. People call this one the international version or the Saudi Arabia version. But it's still in English. It still plays in English. A difference with this one is that it doesn't come with a manual. The manual is supposed to be online or whatever. But yeah, I'm still, kind of happy to have this in my collection, I guess, since it's a little harder to find. But like I said, I didn't like this game. But yeah, that's the last game in my collection. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Sorry I was gone for a few weeks. I had a vacation and then a little weekend getaway for my wife's birthday. But I'm back now. I hope to be doing videos probably every weekend or every other weekend. Me and my brother have the podcast. I do collection videos. Next video I'll probably be doing is a review video. So please like and subscribe and share if you want to. And thanks for tuning in. Until next time.